A man lives his lifetime, but a writer rules the hearts and minds of his admirers for centuries. Well, I do believe writers play a major role in saving a civilization, and especially when their great work has been translated into major living languages of today. Maybe that's why admirers of Shakespeare is not limited to just English speaking language, but his finest work has also been translated to many other languages to spread the joy of English literature to all the people. I do thank the translator and editor here for not keeping the joy limited to himself, but taking a pain in translating the masterpiece to other languages too. My guest of honor today has done something similar for a famous book which he has edited and translated to make it easier for many to read his book. He is a reputed composer, solver, arbiter, and a person who is always willing to expand the community with his work both in WFCC and his country, Marcus Roland. Thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure.
Thank you to you, Anigo. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you. It's an honor.
So, the first question which I would want to ask you is just a general question. So, could you tell us a bit about your background as to how you got into chess composition and why this became your passion?
Well, I composed my first problem back in 1988. It was a helpmate in three moves. And I was at that time very connected to the famous Brazilian composer Felix Sonnenfeld. So that was a time from which I became an amateur of chess compositions. But until my retirement in 2016, my involvement with chess compositions was a little inconstant, very inconstant indeed. So from time to time, I used to come back to composition and I left, etc. But from 2016, when I retired, I became more intensely connected to chess compositions. So I composed up to today about 120 compositions, of which 90% are helplets. But I composed also some direct to movers, three moves and four moves, and also self-made in two moves, which I composed back in 1989 with my mentor, Felix Sonnenfeld.
That's amazing. So, I see that you started in 2016 after your retirement, but before that, can you tell us a bit about what your translation was, since I remember you telling that literature was one of your hobbies as well?
Yes. I began translating, I began translating professionally when I was working for the Brazilian Customs Administration in 1998. And I was, at that time, a delegate of Brazil in the World Customs Organization. So I had to translate official documents, mainly from French to Portuguese. At that time, I studied French seriously. I got a diploma of translating French to Portuguese and Portuguese to French. And English, I have learned by practice, Just 40 years I am involved with English almost daily. So I can say that I learned English by practice. And for practice, including writing, because I think I write in English better than I speak. And when my work with the Brazilian administration, with international entities ended in 2002, my involvement with translation as a hobby continued. And so I continued to translate poetry and sometimes philosophical writings to Portuguese. I have a reasonable amount of translations made by hobby. Sometime maybe I will publish them. And I worked some years after my retirement as a freelance translator, but it didn't suit me. Very poor paid and a little tedious, etc. So when I started to think about translating the Piot's book in January of this year, it was not a coincidence. It was not something casual. This decision has a logical background, you know.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's quite insightful. But one question is also, which I was thinking, is that how are you involved in chess alongside chess composition and chess solving? And what stuff have you done in chess as well?
Yes, I was a practical player until the middle of the 80s. But I gave up chess tournaments so when I realized that I was not good enough to be a professional. At that time, I became involved with chess compositions, you know. But when I was living in Brasilia, the capital of my country, in the middle 90s, I assembled a group of chess enthusiasts, and we edited a chess magazine during 5 years, between 1994 and 1999. We edited, I was the editor-in-chief. We published about 29 issues of that magazine. And that was a very well praised magazine by all the Brazilian chess community. So I have a background with writing in chess.
Yeah.
I like to tell stories. I love stories. So that's the reason when I translated this book, I wrote the preface. I described myself as a chronicler of travels through these 64 squares.
Yeah, so some of you audience may know that Marcus Roland has, of course, translated and edited this book of Solve with the World Champion, Secrets of Chess Solving. So if you want to buy this book, and I will recommend that you do, because this is an amazing book, as me and Marcus will talk about what some of the stuff went into this. You can find the Amazon link below in the description. So now I would like to ask questions which are more book generic, of course. So could you please tell us, for example, what this book is about, and so what your motif of editing and translating the book were, and why was it so important?
Yes, you know, on the eve of the International Solving Contest in January of this year, I realized that the Brazilian problem was in a very bad way. We had only 3 composers active in regularly publishing in international chess problems publications, magazines. And I remembered how different was the situation back in the 80s. When Felix Sonnenfeld, Domingos Arrow, all of them were alive. And I thought that the old generation has passed away as natural law of life, and there is no renewal. Unfortunately, there is no renewal. So that time I engaged with myself to do something for improve this situation. And I consider that I need a book. You know, the book is a founder of civilizations. You know, including problems. I thought I needed a book to still even consider that Brazil is a country of continental dimensions, a very large country. I needed a book. So I consider that I should start by solving, because people start to be interested in chess composition by solving it. So I thought about Piotr's book. I knew about it because I had studied with him back in 2007. We followed a course with Piotr by Skype platform, some Brazilian composers, solvers. So I contacted Piotr, and at the beginning, he was not very impressed. Maybe he thought it was a little impossible, you know. Yeah. But I translated the first chapter for him, the Two Movers chapter, and finally he believed it was possible. So we translated somehow. My goal was the Portuguese version, of course, but this particular job, I don't know the Polish language. The book was written in Polish, but as I am somehow experienced translator, I know very well the resources of the automatic translation, and I'm very practical with it. So I made the first version in following the machine translation, and I discussed it with Piotr. All the doubts, the issues I had about the text during approximately 2 months. Wow. And in the end of the day, it seemed to us that the book was very acceptable, the text. So we published the first in the Kindle format. It had a good reception by the audience and stuff. So I was encouraged to publish the paper versions. So the job is done. We have with you, and I think the Kindle edition, in the Kindle edition was. Your name was not correctly spelled, but now it's good.
Yeah, so that is one of the advantages of course, first doing a test run online and to see all of the mistakes, so that now in the paper version it's all corrected. So I also already tried the paper version, some of the tests and all, and I think it's wonderfully written and wonderfully explained, since it's like a complete beginner's guide as to how you can get pro at solving. So again, a must for chess solvers and for chess people in general, so that they can increase their understanding in chess harmony and chess composition.
Yes. You know, maybe some people would think that the Piotr's approach is excessively pragmatic, you know, about solving competitions, etc. But I think this is a superficial impression, you know, because you can approach a chess problem as a solver, as a practical solver. You need to score points in the competition, etc. and you have to be practical and quick, but the quickest possible way. But at some time, afterwards, you can stop to think and appreciate the problem and all its artistic content. And I think the important thing is that the choice of your choice is very well tasted. I like very much the problems he shows, and I think every solver likes to solve the problems Piotr has selected for this book.
Yeah, completely. Like, some of like the solving methods were quite insightful as to how you can quickly score these points in those solving competitions, along with understanding the beauty of chess composition and what exactly makes the composition itself so amazing. So, Marcus, could you please tell us a bit about the book and what the chapters are ranging from and what a solver can expect to learn?
Well, the first three chapters are basically informative. The second chapter deals about the solving competitions organization. It's about you be acquainted with the organization of chess competitions, solving competitions. This is the first chapter. The second chapter is one of the most interesting chapters in my view. It's about Piotr's career. And I was very impressed by the person, Piotr's character, his will to improve himself at every moment. I think this chapter is very inspiring for not only for solvers, not only for chess players, but for everyone. This is a testimony of the fight of a man in search for excellence, you know. And there is a passage that I was particularly impressed. And I think this passage reflects very well Piotr's character. It's in the page 28 of the book, and Piotr has become, for the first time, the world solving chess champion in Portuguese. And he says in the book, it may seem that after Portuguese, I had already reached the top of everything I had been striving for. This couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, it was only the beginning of the journey. After all, till then, I had not beaten the legendary Ivesev, George Ivesev, the Russian solver, who at that time had taken a few years leave from solving. Not only did I not give up training, but I intensified it even more. So he is never satisfied. He said he is always striving for more and more and more. For me, it's a life lesson for everyone. You cannot, you must not rest upon your laurels, your glory, etc. You have always to be a fighter, to fight for more, you know.
Yeah. Yep, amazing quotes. And to the audience, you can find such amazing quotes throughout this book, along with different amazing quotes from other people as well, other than just Marcus and Piotr. For example, I remember there's also one chapter in which he's interviewing about chess solving to other people. So again,
Yes.
this is a must read for chess solvers and composers to understand chess composition better.
Yes, the chapter 3 deals with some young Polish solvers. And it was a new generation of Polish solvers. They are certainly very influenced by Piotr's success. You know, so Piotr was the mentor, the main mentor of this generation of young soldiers. And one of them, Kasper Bjorn, was a little excessive because he won already 5 times the World Chess Solving Championship. And Piotr, sometimes joking with me, said, this guy is stealing me 5 titles.
Yeah, so that's it for this video. This was just a book, this was just about the publication of this new book by Piotr and edited and translated by Marcus. So thank you very much for watching, and in the next 3 videos with Marcus, we're going to be looking at some of the compositions that he wants to share for me to solve. So thank you, and see you in the next video. Thanks a lot, Marcus.
Thank you.